Dr. Phil.
Bethany was an outstanding soccer player. She quit because of drugs.
Doctors saved her life.
She got a pig heart valve and a pacemaker.
But what will she do with her second chance?
Even though I've had open heart surgery, I'm still getting high.
You brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was high at my wedding.
Look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea.
I know in my heart that, I'm just over it.
You use drugs today? You're over it? You're kidding me.
She's stealing money, breaking into cars, doing sexual favors.
She told me she wouldn't do that.
Where did you think she was getting the money? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. All right, I want you to take a look at some heart-wrenching photos. A beautiful young woman given a 50-50 chance of survival. After 10 days in a coma on life support, emergency open heart surgery, and another operation to put in a pacemaker, Bethany did survive. But while her family rejoiced, some were conflicted over how they felt about Bethany's second chance at life. Her sister Abby and brother Josh say maybe their baby sister dying may have been the best thing for their family. Why would they say that? Because Bethany is a heroin addict whose addiction is so serious that she checked herself out the night she was admitted to the ICU to go get high. Take a look.
Bethany's stay at the hospital was very, very traumatizing. It was just hell for us.
A couple days after Christmas, she arrived at the hospital in the ER with my mom and dad. She was extremely sick. She was knocking on death's door 100%. Her white blood count was 3 or 4 times what it was naturally supposed to be. She also had bilateral pneumonia on top of all that. She refused to be admitted, and she 100% discharged herself after medical advice. She wanted to get high. I couldn't believe it. The drug dealer dropped Bethany off. Within minutes of getting to the hospital, her oxygen levels plummeted. They moved her into ICU. She had a big apparatus that was around her face, blowing air into her lungs. They put her into a medical-induced coma for about 10 days.
People came and prayed over her at the hospital daily, every day. I was upset, mad, frustrated, because I knew why she was in the hospital.
The doctors did an EKG on her heart and realized she had a major leakage in one of her valves. The only way to really fix it was to open her chest up and physically remove it.
Bethany got a pig heart valve.
Also, the doctors end up installing a pacemaker.
The worst part of this whole thing is that this was completely self-inflicted because of her drug habit.
Sometimes I feel like it would be easier if
You were dead just so my family would stop worrying.
and so we could live a normal life without this headache of addiction.
Well, it's been a month, just a month since Bethany's discharge, but Abby and Josh say her first night home from the hospital, she snuck out, disappeared, and now refuses to tell anyone where she is.
Drugs are more important to Bethany than anything else, even herself. Bethany doesn't show respect to anybody in my family. Bethany has the nerve to use in my parents' home. One time, she had a boyfriend over while my parents were out of town, and he overdosed.
His muscles were all locked up, and my brother actually had to drag him out of the bathroom, get him into the living room floor, and do CPR until the paramedics arrived.
The fact that she would bring that into my family's home is just absolutely insane. Bethany was even high at my wedding, and she was my maid of honor. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and my sister's beside my husband and I high. Bethany never apologized to me for that. She just thought it was funny. Nothing is sacred to her.
In August, Bethany's friend from childhood, also a heroin addict, died of an overdose.
Bethany went to the funeral high as a kite. She's constantly lying about who she's with and what she's doing. Bethany has a sugar daddy. He's giving her money and a phone.
Physically, Bethany's appearance has changed drastically. Her eyes have sunken in, her body shriveled up. She looks like a corpse.
I told Bethany that she was a person, and she's broken our hearts. And I just told her to get her life together. She just said and didn't talk to me anymore.
Well, her parents say Bethany was not raised to be deceitful, wasn't raised to be a drug addict, and don't want to know the person that she's become.
What are you doing?
I am about to do heroin.
The Bethany that I see now is definitely not the daughter that I want to know. Bethany and her 6 siblings had a great life growing up.
We raised all of our children to know what right and wrong was.
Bethany was an outstanding soccer player and was on her way to get a scholarship. And because of drugs, she quit the soccer team. When Bethany was in high school, she was involved in an altercation with one of her friends. She was charged with lynching. The charges were reduced to a misdemeanor, but the whole thing would have been dropped if she had have done community service and passed the drug test, but she could not pass the test at all. I feel like the guilt and the shame of having that on her record pushed her deeper into the drug scene.
As I watched my daughter on life support in the hospital, I felt absolutely helpless.
It was heart-wrenching to see your youngest lying there like that.
She was in bad shape physically.
She had a 50-50 chance to live.
I looked at her, and I couldn't tell if she really realized what she'd been through and how serious it was. I issued the tough love. I told Bethany if she were to die in this situation, we would cry, we would hurt, but our lives would go on. She didn't give me a response.
We're in a dire situation here, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to just jump into this. Joining us via Polycom is Bethany's older brother, Josh. Josh, I want to include you right from the beginning as well. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Clyde, let me start with you. What's your objective in being here today?
Well, really, my objective is to help my daughter to live a normal life. My heart's broken. My heart's broken right now.
How do you feel towards her right now? Are you angry? Are you
Very angry.
frustrated? What are your feelings?
Yeah, frustration.
I'm angry,
Big
frustrated.
time.
I resent her for doing this to our family. Just sad.
Josh, how about you?
It's a very, very frustrating and heartbreaking to watch her go through this again.
The most challenging part, Dr. Phil, is as a family having to decide at some point when is enough enough. I mean, something has to change.
What's your position? And by the way, I want you guys to be brutally honest, just straight up what you feel.
I love my daughter, and I feel like that I have loved her with every inch inside of me and done probably what my family feels like I've been an enabler to her a lot. And maybe I have in some sense, but I felt like if I didn't do what I did, that she would die, that nobody else would be there because they were so aggravated and angry with her. I don't want to enable her, and I don't want to be the bad guy.
You said, maybe I'm enabling her. I mean, let's call a spade a damn shovel here. You are enabling her.
Right.
And by the way, let's get this out of the way right up front. You're enabling her for you, not for her. You're doing it to allay your anxiety. You're doing it so you get a peaceful night. You're doing it so you feel better. You're putting your needs ahead of hers. You're giving her that money so that night you can go, okay, she's got a room tonight, or I know she's somewhere tonight that I know, and I can rest easy tonight. You've ignored the fact that you've taken her one step deeper into heroin hell.
It's so hard, Dr. Phil, when do you do actually cut it off and say, no more at all? No more. I mean, put her out and put her on the street and say no more.
Well, look, I try to get things down real simple, and I have core values, and one of them is you just don't reward bad behavior. I mean, let's just think about that. Hey, everybody here think about that. Is that a good value, you just don't reward bad behavior?
That's a good value.
If you have a kid that writes on the wall, you don't pick him up and hug him and say, good job.
Right. We never did that.
You don't reward bad behavior. Right. So if your daughter is shooting up heroin, you don't give her $20.
That's right.
And if we get her somewhere that she needs to be, and she calls you whining and crying, and you cave, oh, woman.
She asked me for $20 about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I told her, and you would be happy, because I told her no.
Well, if she asks you for $20, you might as well hit her in the head with a ball-peen hammer.
Right.
Then give her $20.
Right.
Bethany is here, and she allowed our cameras to document her daily life, a life that may or may not shock her family to see and hear. We're going to meet Bethany after the break, and we're going to see what she does. We'll be right back.
When I use drugs, I'll do it anywhere. On Christmas Day, I was in the bathroom. My sister walked in on me. I didn't care. The worst place I ever shot up was in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting in a church. One time, I overdosed in a McDonald's parking lot. One of my friends told me that I was turning blue.
Bethany is refusing to come down right now.
I'm not surprised.
Her parents might put up with this, but I don't.
I don't even trust Bethany.
Bethany is a master manipulator. She's a liar. She's a thief. Bethany's stolen money, purses, clothing, anything that is of value she could probably sell, she sells. When Bethany comes around, you have to hide stuff in your car keys. There's been many occasions where Bethany's taken my mother or my father's car in the middle of the night and gone to go buy drugs. Bethany denies it 100%.
Bethany just needs to wake up and realize what she's doing. She's just being a selfish idiot.
Now, Bethany allowed our cameras to document her daily life. And when I say document, we didn't encourage, we didn't initiate, we were a fly on the wall. She just did what she did, and we documented it with our cameras. So take a look.
Well, I have a scar straight down here from my heart surgery. And then I have this one here, which is where the pacemaker is now. Even though I've had open heart surgery and a pacemaker put in, I'm still getting high. It's something that I can't control. I am not shooting heroin right now. I'm snorting it. Heroin is my #1 priority in life. I probably use about 4 or 5 times a day. When I use, it's like a warm, fuzzy hug. It numbs out the world, and the world that I live in is no good. I'm gonna go ahead and get high in the bathroom. I feel better now. We are going to pick up some heroin right now for myself. I've got a friend that sends me money when I need it. They do not know what I use it for. I usually tell them what they want to hear. I'm just gonna get like just a couple bags. That'll last me a few hours.
How will they feel about us pulling up with the camera?
Oh no, you gotta turn that thing off. I am about to do some more of this heroin. I have a love-hate relationship with heroin. I love the way it makes me feel, but I hate what it does to me as a person and to the people that I love. With my medical condition, it's pretty insane that I would still choose to do what I'm doing. I'm risking my life at this point.
That's tragic. That's sad. It breaks my heart to know that I've known it all along, that she puts a drug ahead of her family and the love that we have for her. It's mind-boggling to me. I understand the addictive part physically. The mental part I don't quite get for whatever reason.
It makes me angry.
She's just been out of the hospital a very short time.
Yeah, 30, 40 days.
She was in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
I don't understand how stupid you can be. I don't get it.
And if you give her $20, it goes up her nose right now.
Exactly.
The doctors that operated on her
perplexed.
heart told her that when she came to her senses and was able to speak and understand out of the coma, You know, they said once they operated on a heart, that if you go back to drugs, you'll die. In 90 days, you'll be dead.
Josh, any comment?
It's just, it's heartbreaking and sad to actually see her using. Obviously, all this time we've known she's been using.
Yeah.
But to watch her do it,
yeah.
it's actually makes my stomach hurt a little bit. But that's the reality of it. The reality of what she's doing is she's killing herself, and it's just tragic and sad.
What I just saw, I'm just amazed that she absolutely has been doing that, because she's been telling me that she's not doing anything, you know. And I just see this, and it's just like, you know, all the lies and the stealing, and
it's sickening.
It just is heartbreaking.
Hurts your heart.
Because this is not the child that I raised.
But you have to come out of your fantasy world of what you want to believe,
right,
what you want to be true, and recognize what is true, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Right, exactly.
She's telling you, I'm not using, I'm not doing anything, I'm not that stupid. And you have video evidence, firsthand evidence of exactly what's happening.
Right.
Now, Bethany is refusing to come down right now. She's insisting on changing her clothes.
I'm not surprised.
Her parents might put up with this, but I don't. We're going to take a break, and hopefully she's going to be ready to come down here so we can get down to business. We'll be right back. Have you gotten high today?
Mm-hmm.
And you brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. It's crazy you did that.
Okay, from being homeless and living in a crack house to using heroin inside a church, Bethany says nothing is more important to her than heroin.
When I use drugs, I'll do it anywhere. When I need to do it, I do it. I've used drugs at my parents' house. On Christmas Day, I was in the bathroom. My sister walked in on me getting high. I didn't care anymore who saw me, who knew. I've attended 5 funerals for friends that have died of overdoses. One time I used drugs before my friend's funeral. It was really crazy. The worst place I ever shot up was in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting in a church. There have been times that I've been homeless due to my heroin use. I lived with a drug dealer. It was a drug house. When you walk in, there's random people getting high. Using heroin has definitely put my life in jeopardy. I have overdosed 3 times. One time, I overdosed in a McDonald's parking lot. One of my friends told me that I was turning blue and she had to do CPR. Another time I overdosed, I was in a parking lot with a guy. He ended up having to hit me with Narcan like I was dying, if I wasn't dead already. And the Narcan brought me back from leaving Earth. It scared me, but not enough to stop. The lifestyle's pretty insane, to say the least. I shouldn't be alive, but I am.
Let's ask Bethany to join us now. Hello, Bethany.
Hey.
How you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you feeling right now?
I feel okay.
Have you gotten high today?
Mm-hmm.
How long ago?
A couple hours.
And you brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry?
It's crazy you did that.
When you were in the hospital, you were really, really sick. Do you have a full awareness of how sick you were in the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had open heart surgery, you were in a medically induced coma for 10 days, you got a pacemaker, a valve replacement. Do you have a sense that that's on death's door?
Yeah.
If you had died, would that have been okay with you?
At the time, yeah.
How do you feel saying yes to that question?
pretty sad and selfish.
What impact do you think that would have had on your mother?
Oh, man.
Huh?
It would have broke her heart.
And you've been telling her that you aren't using now, right? Why did you tell her that when in fact you are using?
I just wanted to tell her basically what she wanted to hear. I'm just tired of hurting people.
You were Abby's maid of honor, right? That was a big day in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah. And she was high at my wedding. She got high at my wedding.
She was high at your wedding?
Yeah.
We didn't know that, man. I'm like the last one to ever know anything. Do you feel like that as a father or husband? I'm like the last one to know.
No, I
You're
don't
not?
feel that way.
Well, I do, man, and it's not a good feeling.
I asked her about it, and she just kind of laughed. She thought it was funny.
Why are you a heroin addict?
I mean, I didn't like wake up one day and say like, I think I'm gonna do heroin today. I think I'm gonna be a heroin addict. It didn't really work out like that, but I think I do it to like just numb.
You say it numbs you from the world.
Reality.
What's so painful in your reality that you need to numb yourself to it?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know. I've never dealt with a lot of things, so.
What have you not dealt with?
I was in like a pretty like physically abusive relationship.
Were you numbing yourself from being hurt, or were you numbing yourself from the fact that you allowed that to happen?
Both.
Let's take a break for a minute. Where else does Bethany get money to support a deadly addiction? From robbing men to resorting to things that may break her family's heart, we're going to get it all on the table, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
I have definitely resorted to things to get drugs, to get high. I worked at a strip club for about 5 years so that I could support my habit. It was pretty easy money. My family does not know that I was doing that. I have not ever been an escort or a prostitute, but I've done sexual favors for guys in order to get drugs. One time, me and one of my friends robbed this old man who was paying our rent, buying us food, taking us shopping, and we ended up taking 12 grand. We actually got one of our guy friends to make it look like somebody had broken into his car and took his money. I've never stolen money from my family, but one time I stole a pretty expensive purse from my mom and sold it. Worst thing I ever sold was my car. I sold it for $2,500. I've never sold drugs myself. However, I did favors for my drug dealers. I gave quite a few people rides to make drug transactions. I have a friend that gives me money now, but I don't have a sugar daddy. It's pretty crazy. I don't want to live like this anymore.
It's reality time, Mom. What are you hearing and what are you feeling?
Just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. You know, to hear the things that she's been willing to go to that extent for money is to support her habit.
What did you think she was doing?
Honestly, I think I just blocked it out of my mind that she wouldn't do that. She really wouldn't do that.
Where did you think she was getting the money?
I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't sure where she was getting it, but I didn't think that she would resort to that. I really did not.
Well, I know you weren't sure, but where did you think she was getting the money?
I had no idea, but I just knew that she wouldn't do something like that. And I'm just amazed. I am just totally amazed at what I just saw and heard.
You knew she was doing drugs. You know they cost money. Where did you think she was getting the money?
Honestly, the fact that what I just saw with the girls' club, I had heard that she probably was doing something like that, but I would dismiss it because I didn't think that she would do that. And I guess just in a denial that no, she wouldn't do that. And have believed everything that she's ever told me, and fought with my family. She wouldn't do that. And been on a roller coaster emotionally because I wanted to believe the best. And yet, because you love your children, but you just, you think she wouldn't do that. She told me she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't, she wasn't lying. I'm really not lying, and yet she was, stealing from me. And I just asked her, the nice purse that I got, have you seen it? No, ma'am, haven't seen it. And then she finally said, yeah, I took it. And I'm like, why? That was in my closet. That wasn't for you to go take somewhere and sell it,
Do you see why enabling is so evil, why it is so crippling? You allow her to stay in this game another day, another week. You make it possible for her to stay in that game. You make it possible for her to stay in the game where she's stealing money, breaking into cars, doing sexual favors for money, stripping, larceny. You're enabling her to do that. You're making it possible for her to do those things instead of stopping it a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
What would it take to get you to change? We just went through open heart surgery, pig's valve, and a pacemaker. Look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea how it hurts and how deep it hurts.
I just need help.
Why should we believe you this time?
Closed captioning provided by...
Because of my drug use, I've been in some really dangerous situations. I've seen a lot of violence, a lot of fights. One time I saw my friend get shot over drugs. The dealer got upset that my friend was telling him that his bags weren't big enough. The dealer went back inside and got his gun and came back out and shot him in the leg. When I think about all the crazy things that I've been through, it makes me realize that the lifestyle that I was living is insane.
If you add the crimes up that she described on videotape, you're talking 30 years in prison. I did the math. I wrote them down. I listed them. Possession of heroin, first offense, 2 years, second offense, felony up to 5 years. Driving drug dealers to deliver heroin, that's trafficking, first offense, 7 to 25 years. Hired a friend to rob an older man, $20,000, grand larceny, 10 years. Trade sexual favors for drugs. Supplied heroin to friends who OD'd, witness attempted murder. You go through all of these things, you're talking a lifetime in prison.
How does your brain think like that, sweetie? I'd like to hear some kind of answer that would say, look, this is why I've been doing all this. Is there not a stopping point that you wouldn't do anything for the drug? I mean, what would it take to get you to change? We just went through open heart surgery, pig's valve, and a pacemaker. And you're back with drugs already? You tell me. I'm your dad. You tell me something that I could do, a point where we can stop and start this thing going in a different direction. And I'm here. I'm here for you.
I need help.
Our heart, look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea. Your mother can cry about it, but you don't have any idea inside how it hurts and how deep it hurts. You don't have any idea. And it seems like from all the stuff that we're talking about, you don't really care. And we just want the Bethany that cares and is normal, that's all. You don't have to be anything great. Just be your Bethany that we love, Bessie Mae. We love you. Your brother loves you. Your sister loves you. Your whole family loves you. God. A lot of people don't have families that love them like this. They kick them to the curb and put them on the streets, make them prostitute for drugs. I don't know. I'm a streetwise guy, but I don't know how all that works. But it's just not, something's got to happen. Something's got to break inside of you to give us a place where we can start again somehow. Because this is crazy. This is so frustrating. It's frustrating.
Do you have anything to say to him?
I just need help, and like, I need y'all to like try to understand it more. Like, I know you don't understand and you don't get it, but I don't know how to explain it to you and help you understand it. It's like something that like.
Why should we believe you this time? I mean, we've been through this how many times, Doc?
6.
7? 6? We've been here. We've ridden this.
I don't want to live like this anymore. It's almost like I know, like, in my heart that, like, I'm just over it. Like, I don't.
You use drugs today. You're over it?
Yeah, but I don't want to. Like, I don't want to.
What you don't get is that when she's shooting up heroin and she is really needing that next fix, you could fall down in front of her with a heart attack and she would step over your body gasping for air to get to that next fix. You need to get that through your head. That's the power of what we're talking about here. We're going to take a break. Bethany admits her 6 stints in rehab were more like vacations than a life-saving resource. So is there anything that will finally turn her life around? I'm going to tell you what I think after the break.
I do know that I'm done. After seeing what I saw today, I'm done. And I can't do it anymore. While Bethany was in the hospital, I found a journal that she had written. She said she had experienced some very horrible things. It was just devastating and heartbreaking to know that my child had walked through that kind of thing. Reading the journal put a lot of things in perspective for me. It's not just the drugs that she needs help with. There's all kinds of emotional things down inside. She's not free. She's not free.
Despite recently being in a medically induced coma and having open heart surgery to save her life, Bethany admits she is still using heroin multiple times a day. Her serious drug addiction has left her sister Abby, brother Josh, and parents Charlotte and Clyde absolutely confounded. They're heartbroken, they're confused, and frankly, they feel helpless. They don't know what to do.
Don't know, have no earthly idea.
I do know that I'm done. After seeing what I saw today, I'm done. I can't, because I just feel like in the last 5 years that I'm the reason that she's where she is today. And that's very sad to me. That's heartbreaking to me to think, even though my family was telling me, Mom, you got to stop. You know, I haven't wanted to until I saw and heard what she said today. And I can't do it anymore. I know that.
But you see why I zeroed in on you from the beginning. Josh, talk to me. What are you thinking and feeling right now?
I want to get off of this roller coaster ride of emotions and heartbreak and see her live normal. Because she is a smart girl.
She is. And
she's beautiful when she's sober. And she has so much to offer. And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating just to see her throw her life away and waste all this precious time on drugs and this terrible things that we've heard today that she's been doing. It's just sad and it's heartbreaking.
Abby, what do you want to say to your sister?
I'm angry with her. The stuff that she does is, I guess being a female is just disgusting and just, It just makes me angry. I'm hurt, and I don't understand why she chose drugs and why she does everything over. She doesn't care about her family. She cares about heroin.
At this point, she couldn't stop this if she wanted to, because there is a physiological addiction that she has. There are parts of her brain that have been programmed to where she has to do this. And this is not a psychological, habitual phenomenon here. This involves her brain and her physiology. There are pleasure centers in the amygdala of the brain, in the nucleus accumbens in the brain that are involved. And she is in a neurological loop here that she cannot get out of. And I don't think she has ever had proper treatment. I think she's had partial treatment. She's had the 28-day patch.
And it didn't work.
If I told you that I know what you need and I can put you on that path, would you want to have it? You have confessed to a number of crimes here. You can either not do drugs in a treatment center, or you can not do drugs in jail. That's your choice. The only chance that you have is not to treat your addiction, but to treat you. It's what's called dual diagnosis treatment programs that deal with comorbidity. You are depressed, you are anxious, you are confused. This man right here is T.J. Howard. Now, T.J. Howard, in addition to being a good friend of mine, is the corporate director for Origins Behavioral Health Care. And I believe they are the nation's leading dual diagnosis treatment center. And what they do is treat people, not diseases. They treat people, not addictions. And I asked him to fly in here today for you. TJ, where do you think she needs to go?
You know, I think that you're a perfect candidate for Hannah's house. It's our female-only facility that's highly medically capable because you have some medical concerns. And we got to involve the family because there's some major family enabling going on. But Hannah's house in South Padre Island, Texas is the best thing for you. We got to get you out of this loop that you're in and develop new brain pathways to get you onto some more healthy habits.
You can try to run off, but that isn't going to work because we're going to drag your ass back. And this card that I filled out here, yeah, I work with law enforcement. I work, do you know that? I work with law enforcement a lot. And you have confessed to a number of crimes here. And I'm going to keep you from doing drugs. You can either not do drugs in a treatment center, or you can not do drugs in jail. But I'm going to keep you off the street. And I would prefer that you do it in treatment. But that's your choice. You want to take this help? She says she'll take the help.
Thank goodness. Me neither.
I think she's ready. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to T.J. Howard and Origins Behavioral Health Care. Thanks. I'll see you next time.
down. Yeah, you played me like a basketball. Every time you're around, boy, you make me feel so small. Is this how love's supposed to be? 'Cause I've been told many other stories. No one's ever treated me the way you did. No, no. I don't think I wanna meet someone like you again. For what you've done, you cannot even make any amends. Told me lies and denied that you were with her the other night. Why should I stand in line just to spend with you some time? Is this how love's supposed to be? 'Cause I